Welcome back. Our next guests are former bankers from Wall Street, but after years of unforgettable trips to Africa, they soon realized that they favor fauna over finance.
Asia to Africa Safari is now the first and only safari company in Asia was born, and today it organizes over 200 customized safari tours each year for travelers in Asia who are seeking that out-of-the-world experience.
And the figure is growing as more and more Asian travelers develop a taste for exotic destinations. Well, this morning, what is fueling this trend and what do you need to be on the lookout for when traveling to Africa?
Well, joining us this morning in studio is Jose Cortez and Victor Dizon, the founders of Asia to Africa Safaris. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Morning.
So as mentioned earlier, you guys are former investment bankers. You kind of gave that up, left Wall Street, decided to head to the jungle instead, a different kind of jungle. What was the attraction? Had you done a trip on your own before and thought, wow?
Yeah, you know, back in the I guess the mid '90s, like I first went, and then my wife and I loved it. Victor was like a really good sort of kind of traveling buddy of ours, and then we went together. We started going once, twice, like 3 times a year, and we said, you know, this is something that it's just. It's not even like comparable to any trip we have. We call it an experience. And
well, tell us more about the experience. What did you experience that you felt that, hey, there could be a market for this?
I think the first thing that truly struck me, and you know, both Jose and I love to travel, and I think, you know, at that point we'd been pretty much everywhere in the world. And I think when we went into Africa, it was really, I felt like I stepped back in time. You know, you were in a place where there was nothing man-made. Wildlife was walking around, and I said to myself, this is how it must have been 2,000 years ago. This is what people must have seen. And I truly felt transported and time had stopped. Truly, like, I felt like I was in a sort of a Jurassic Park.
Right. So you really get up close with the personals, but as you mentioned how it was maybe 2,000 years ago, but that's not how it really is with the living conditions, right? I mean, you're not going back in time as in where...
yeah, you're not exactly, we like to tell our clients, you're not going to be slumming it. So, I mean, it's probably the most luxurious trip out there in terms of, you know, your accommodations, but over and above that, you have just this luxury of space. You know, we have this, one of our favorite camps in Botswana, which Victor and I have been to many times. You know, it's twice the size of Singapore, but you know, we only allow 12 people.
Wow, okay.
Well, tell us more about this luxurious package that you have. It's tailor-made. You've decided to focus on a key market versus a mass market. Is there a particular reason why?
I think the reason we're focused on the customized markets is, first of all, I guess when we experienced Africa and we fell in love with the place, that's how we did it. And I think to truly get the best out of the African safari experience, it needs to be tailored specifically to the needs of the clients, and we can really cater to them and provide them with the
So when you
best
say needs, what do you ask? What are you looking out for?
Yeah, there's a combination of like people. They have some people who are really going to be their, you know, what you call your National Geographic buffs. Someone who wants to see like a lion go for a buffalo, for example. Then you know where to send them. Some people take their families. They don't want malaria. They don't want, you know, they want less insects. They want more, you know, kind of user-friendly activities, or
safer options.
less adventurous.
And there's some who are the adventure junkies. They want to go canoeing, they want to go walking and come up close to the wildlife, you know, that sort of thing. And so, again, we can cater for those kinds of enthusiasts or activities as well.
So it sounds like anything goes in that sense, you know, involving the animals in any respect that you want to sort of get up close to them. I mean, and of course, it's a guide to take them along on each of these journeys. How does it work also? I mean, are there parts of the area that are sort of, I mean, because we know there are many other safaris out there. Do you each get different spaces, or do you kind of like all share one big... Well,
yeah, good question. There's some of the bigger parks that you would have heard of, like the Serengeti or the Masai Mara, where you have the migration. Those are national parks, not too dissimilar to like Yellowstone and Yosemite.
Okay.
But we have these what we call private reserves, where, you know, all these huge concessions, ranging up to where we have a concession which is like 1.5 million hectares, for example, which is, I would say, that's like 40 times the size of Singapore.
Okay.
And yeah, they limit the what they call like footprint that guests, you know, do and can have.
Because you want to preserve it.
Yes, and this is something that you just don't want to harass animals. You don't want to overexpose them to people, and and it reflects on your own experience because you want it kind of all to yourself.
So give us an idea, because you have never done exotic holiday stays like that. So when you go there, what sort of mindset should you be in? What should you be mindful of in an environment like that?
I think in some sense, as I said, we have a guide who is a specialist guide who's well trained in terms of dealing with wildlife and nature and was highly educated about the flora and fauna in that area. I think people generally should come with an open mind, that they're there to experience something different, out of the ordinary. And I think that's what the guests enjoy truly, because you can go there and you're learning a lot about new things and seeing things in their natural environment. I think that's really what the experience is all about.
So can anybody go, or is this better suited for some ages, some types of, people?
Maybe not so young.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as long as you're reasonably fit. We were just talking the other day. We just had the client come back. It's a big family, and the grandmother was 92. She loved her trip. Said she'd do it again. Yeah, we do.
Right.
It's from we have clients who bring their 2-year-old son or
Really?
daughter, and
Okay.
yeah, so it's for the whole for
So
an
a
age,
wide
basically.
range of choices for you.
Exactly,
You can
yes.
go for the more risky trip, or you can go for the safer one, right?
Right. I think in terms of risk, I think they're generally all safe. But I think, as I said, I think that's part of the whole customization process, where if you're going with a family with small kids, we would recommend this place. If you're a husband and wife who are
Right.
into adventure sports, then we would recommend another place.
I reckon your luggage will look pretty different when you go to a destination like that. Are there special things that you should pack or
Yeah.
bring with you?
I think one of the services we like to do is we actually have a fairly comprehensive packing list, and in fact, some of our consultants even have gone to the extent of going to our clients' homes, helping them to pack.
Oh, okay.
And we even tell clients, look, this is where you can buy this particular type of clothing or this particular kind of gear, because I think the thing to remember is once you're out there, you can't just go into another shop and, I
There's no
forgot this, and
convenience
buy
store.
something.
Exactly, right, yes.
So you need everything, but at the same time, you have to pack something fairly small and light.
So what are the unique things on the list? Unique items there?
Your normal. You just have to bring actually a few sets of clothes.
Right.
The color, sort of neutral colors, cameras.
Okay, do not wear red.
Yeah, none of the bright colors.
Right.
But usually it's a day trip, so people will go out and spend pretty much the whole day out before they come back to the resort. Is that right?
Yeah, a typical day is you actually head out in the morning, because animals are active very early in the morning before the sun becomes hot, and then they sort of hide and rest for a while. Then you go out in the afternoon again, after 4 o'clock. So in the middle of the day, you can siesta, you can go into these hides and just hang out with a book and wait for animals to come to the water. And
What about vaccinations? Are there particular ones, health requirements before you enter the country?
I think that's a common misconception that you need 20 jabs before you go to
Right.
Africa. In fact, most of the places that we hold safaris on, the main medication you'll need to take are anti-malarial pills, which are just orally ingested. And then there are maybe a handful of places where you would need a yellow fever vaccination, which is typically good for 10 years. So it's fairly benign. I think I think people have much, as I said, worse thought in terms of the health.
yeah, the safety and health front, just to give your viewers some comfort. We've been doing this for 10 years, done thousands of safaris, and we haven't had even one case
Right.
of anyone contracting malaria, anyone even having a close call with an animal. So as long as you know which,
Yeah.
respect them, and
I guess we worry because it's the unknown out there. You never know what to expect.
And then they are animals, It's
Yeah.
not like you don't go and say, oh, there's John the lion,
yes, exactly. Yes. And they're wild, right? Yes.
Yeah, they
They're all
are still
very
in the wild, and they are wild. I mean, you don't
Yes.
feed them, you don't go out to
Yes.
You
breed
don't want to
them.
provoke them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think that's part of the attraction, the unknown, the uncertainty, but still with an element of
Right.
safety sort of built in.
Okay. Well, thank you so
Alright,
much
guys.
both for coming in. Jose Cortez and Victor Dizon, the founders of Asia to Africa Safaris. They were talking to us about the increasing popularity of African safaris among Asian travelers today.
And also some things to be mindful of if you are planning to take one of those
I know
trips.
I'm not wearing this to Africa.
Well, on that note, we are done. We're going to wrap it up. This is AM Live for this Tuesday, 29th of